Welcome all to Atmiya Charities Career Compass. We're very happy to have everyone here today, and we have a very exciting subject for everyone. Krutarth Bhai and the rest of the Career Compass team was doing a lot of research in the past couple of weeks, and we figured that we can talk about the art of communication. There's so many topics, actually, that we uncovered that we think everyone can benefit from, that we had to make it a multi-part series. So today we're going to cover part one. We'll go over some of the details in, do you have the clicker, Krutarth Bhai? So if we look at communication as a whole, think about thousands of years ago when we were cavemen, okay? At that time, there was no real communication. If I wanted someone to leave the room, I would say, right? Sometimes my uncle does that today, so I don't know how much we've evolved yet. But if we wanted to partner with someone and fight someone, we would communicate. And he would say yes. And that was a communication. Then it evolved as humans got more complex. We started having simple messages like hi, hello, goodbye. And then it evolved more as we had more people on different continents, different states. There's several, just in India, several different languages within each state, and thousands of languages across the globe today. Vocabulary keeps increasing. More words are put in the dictionary to describe certain things that cannot be described via the English language today. It is humans that had this relentless urge to connect, to communicate, to understand, and to be understood. And all that is an art. And that is why we call it the art of communication. Today we're standing here. Krutarth Bhai and I are presenting. If we could go back one slide. Krutarth Bhai and I are presenting today in front of you. We have a worry. Are you going to understand everything we say today? That's a worry in our communication. When you're giving an interview, you have a worry. How do you pack as much information as possible so the hiring manager can understand? When you're giving a speech, you have a worry. How can I use my hands, my vocal dynamics to make sure I speak so everyone can understand me? Those are some of the items that we're going to cover in the next couple parts of the art of communication. All of this will be in English. At work, you speak English. At home, we're going to encourage you to speak English. And we're going to have a lot of practice sessions today between us that will be done in English. And we want everyone to participate fully here. All right? So there's a couple topics that we have. Interpersonal communication, simple. Me talking to my manager at work. Me talking to my friend. How do I say certain things? How will they perceive what I say? Nonverbal communication. I'm using my hands a lot here. Do you use your hands? I'm using different pitch, different tone, different pace. I'm pausing at sometimes. Do you do that as well? Storytelling, we'll go over that into a future part, which is a beautiful piece. Listening skills is part of it as well. Comprehension and synthesis. You guys do so much complex things at home, at work. Are you able to synthesize that into something simple that anyone can understand? Affirmation skills, communicating concisely, all these are skills that we're going to learn in part 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the art of communication. So thank you again for joining us today.
So, like Anand Bhai said, communication is a skill. We might hear speakers on YouTube or on news channels, and we might think that, wow, he's such a great speaker. He must be naturally talented. Take Obama, for example. Whenever he comes on stage, he just mesmerizes everyone in the audience. So we think that, yeah, he's a natural speaker. But that's a myth. Communication, like every other thing, is a skill. It's like learning an instrument. It's like learning a sport. It can be taught, it can be learned, it can be upgraded and enhanced. One needs to practice. Like Anand Bhai mentioned, that while we may have pride in our mother tongue, maybe it's Hindi, it's Gujarati, it's Marathi, maybe it's some language from south of India. We are in the United States, and whether we like it or not, this country's first language is English. So it's essential that we learn English, we practice English, and make English a part of our lives. There's no substitution for that. So when I was studying to come here, our professor for the TOEFL exam gave a very good idea that if someone wants to learn English in the American way, because Canadian English is different, British English is different, English from Australia, New Zealand is different. We are in America. So how do we learn that? How do we upgrade ourselves? How do we get better in that? So he said that it's very simple. Go to a news channel or go to a channel where there are speeches from Obama, listen to them, write that speech down and read it aloud. So we are involving more than one sense. Multiple senses when they're involved. And this practice doesn't have to be for hours. It's like 5 minutes daily. When we talk with our peers at home or with our family, it's essential that we add in a little bit of English with them as well. I'll tell you that right now, here I'm on stage in front of you. But the first time when I came on stage, my legs were shaking, my mouth was dry. But over time, as I came more, I eased into it. Now I don't feel it. So yeah, it may seem that some people are natural, but it's just that they have practiced a lot. So we need to debunk the myth that only people who are natural can do this. No. Every single person in this room, if they desire, if they have the will, can improve their communication.
And if I could add one thing, communication that we're going to cover is not what Krutartbhai and I are doing right now. Doesn't mean how to speak on a stage. It means anything. If a doctor can properly explain a diet to one of their patients, the patient is more likely to follow that diet. If a teacher can explain a complex equation in a simple manner to a student, the student's perceptivity and comprehension is most likely going to be higher. If you're in an interview and you're giving an interview and you're able to explain what you do in a clear, concise manner, the hiring manager is more likely going to hire you, okay? This is not communication on the stage, though it does cover it. It is communication as interviewing. It is communication as an expert in your field, talking to a non-expert. It's all types of communication, and that's where what Krutartbhai said is very key. When you're at home, practice English. Even though your roommates might be Gujarati, Hindi, Tamil, Bhasri, whatever it is, speak English. That is your way of practicing to get successful in your career, in life, and communicating in general. So we want to go over a formula, the Mehrabian formula. It's a very popular one, and it's opposite of what everyone thinks. Everyone thinks that my message should be the most important thing. But can I tell you the truth? A lot of study has been done by Dr. Mehrabian, and he's calculated that the message is only 7% of your communication. That's it. You know where else everything else comes from? 38%, let's say 40% is your vocal dynamics. What does vocal dynamics mean? Again, not for stage, even speaking to your friends. Speaking fast, speaking slow. Speaking high, speaking low. Speaking in different tones as well. Pausing is very important in vocal dynamics. And to get a message across, you need to practice these items. A couple of days ago, I actually got a call from my HR person, and she invited me to a Zoom call. And I knew there was something going on, so I got on the Zoom call. And she told me that there was some restructuring that was going on. And then she ended the call saying that I won't have my job anymore. I went home and I cried. And I got really worried. How am I going to pay for my bills? What am I going to do with life? How am I going to send money to parents? It was a real big worry for me. Pause. Okay? I made that story up. It's not real. But if you look at the situation, it's a dire situation. If I said that in a very exciting voice,
I'll try that. So 2 weeks ago, there was a corporate restructuring at my work. And guess what? The company's thriving, but I got laid off. Now I only have one worry: how to pay my bills. I have other worries too, like how will I let my parents know? It doesn't matter. I'm very sad. I can't think. I don't know what to do. I'm very depressed.
which one's more impactful? This side. His voice that he used was, guys, guess what? I just got my first job. It's a $100,000 salary. I am taking each of you out for ice cream. You ready? The intonations and the pauses, I paused a lot because it was a dire situation. I used a low voice. I was very slow in what I was saying. That is the way I wanted to express this situation. Krutarj Bhai, he used a lot of pace. Pace is used to exemplify enthusiasm, to exemplify energy. Pace is not the thing to use for when you lose a job. That's when you use it when you get a job. Even your tones, your high tones, your low tones, when you pause, you're allowing some emotional element to sink into the individuals. You have any other examples?
So in 2016, when I came to United States, before that, I was in the line to get my visa in Mumbai. And 2 people ahead of me, there was a guy who went to the window. And he was asked a question, why do you want to go to this X university? Now, instead of explaining what he liked about the university, we'll come to that later, but his tone was a flat, memorized tone. So he got himself in a very uptight position, and this is something that I saw with my own eyes. And he said, this university is very good for artificial intelligence. This university is ranked 25th. This university's tuition fees is just 20,000 grand per year. And then he said like 10 sentences. And the visa officer said that, I'm sorry, I'm not approving your visa. Because we don't know the exact reason. But what I felt was that it was extremely memorized. That is fine. But the tone in which he said conveyed that he actually doesn't know English. He's just memorized that that sentences, and he's saying it. So it did not inspire confidence in the interviewer. And as a result, he was rejected.
Body posture, another one. We as humans love this area. That's it. We're very reserved like this. So when we're speaking, we might put our arms like this. You know what kind of message this sends across when you're speaking with your arms crossed? It's a reserved nature. It's a reserved message. It's a message that says, I don't care what you're saying. It's a message that says, I'm not understanding what you're saying. Versus when you're speaking and you're using your hands, it's very awkward to put your hands out here. For me, it's awkward. For you looking at me, it's very normal. Don't be afraid to use your hands. Your posture in an interview. Do you slouch? Do you have a frown on your face? Do you have your hands on the ground? Or do you have your hands on a table like this? Are you smiling? Are you nodding your head as the hiring manager is speaking? These are all small techniques that can help us, body language, vocal dynamics, to help our message.
So I've been on both sides of the spectrum. I've been interviewing for a job, and I've also interviewed a couple of people. When I was interviewing, I actually went through the non-tangible benefits of body postures during interviews. And it said that start with a smile. So the interviewer comes in on Zoom, and I smile at him. It's like, hi, how are you? And the interview also breaks into a smile. And from that moment onwards, it wasn't an interview, it was just a conversation. So the interviewer eased in, and it helped me ease in too. So that first minute actually helped me relax as well as the interviewer relax. And eventually I was able to get the job. When I was the interviewer, I saw that one guy was so nervous, he was constantly fidgeting with his hands while answering. So that to me gave a sign that, he's not confident in his abilities, and maybe whatever he has done is not true, or whatever he has put in his resume is not true. Just that sign of fidgeting with his hands, it was like this. So it made a huge difference, even though the answers to the technical questions were there, even though what he said was relevant. But these body postures and language of body made a huge difference when I was applying for a job and also when I was interviewing someone for the job.
All these items alone isn't going to get your message across. It's the combination of these three. And the point is, you want to increase in clarity of what you're saying, so the opposite person can maximize their comprehension, their understanding of everything you say. Number one, I put the key in the knob. Number two, I twist the doorknob. Number three, I open the door and walk in. I just described something very menial. How to open a door of your house, right? I could have done that without doing this 1, 2, 3 thing up here. But I chose to use some body language to make sure that you know, 1, I do this. Number 2, I do this. Number 3, I do this. Again, it's a use of body language. So now we're going to go, the scary part for everyone, we're going to go into an exercise. We're going to go out into the audience and call on you. Don't worry about your English. We don't care about your English. We don't care about your pronunciation. We care more that you're reading something that we're putting on. So if we could go to the next slide, in the manner it's supposed to be read. Feel free to use your hands. Feel free to use your vocal dynamics. But the first 2 words that we put there is the feeling that people should be getting. You're going to read what's not in bold. So take a moment to read it, and we'll randomly pick on you, and feel free to speak it. Okay, first one, tranquility and serenity. It's a calm, cool situation. Just say that and use the right vocal dynamics to explain it.
The sunset cast a warm glow over the serene lake, and the birds chirp in the distance, creating the harmonious melody.
Give them a big round of applause. Let's do one more on the first one.
Okay. We'll have Jai Bhai read the first one again.
The sunset cast a warm glow over the serene lake. Birds chirped in the distance, creating a harmonious melody.
Good use of pause as well. Very nice.
Very nice.
We can try saying it. The sunset cast a warm glow over the serene lake. Birds chirped in the distance, creating a harmonious melody. Okay, so there was some pause, very similar to everyone, some different tones, some loud, some high. Just used a variety in the speaking. That's it. And that kind of helps to get the tone across. Let's try the second one here. Usually the people who are not looking at me get selected.
Suddenly, a gust of wind swept through the trees, rustling the leaves. The atmosphere shifted, and a scene of anticipation filled the air.
Very beautiful. Anticipation, change. There's a gust of wind that's coming, and the leaves are rustling. The atmosphere shifted, and a sense of anticipation. Very good. You want to pick one there?
For the second and third. Second one will go to Sapanbhai.
Suddenly, a gust of wind swept through the trees, rustling the leaves. The atmosphere shifted, and a sense of anticipation filled the air.
Very nice.
Warm applause for Sapanbhai.
Shashwat Bhai. Adventure and mystery. So, adventure and mystery means, let's think of like a video game where a person pops up all of a sudden and he has a weapon that you have never seen before. Go explain it.
In that moment, a person emerged from the shadows, carrying a weapon that no man has seen before.
Do it again. Do it again. Pause after in that moment. Pause after a person. Feel free to take 1 second to pause, okay?
In that moment, a person emerged from the shadows, carrying a weapon that no man has seen before. In that moment, a person emerged from the shadows, carrying a weapon that no man has seen before.
Okay, we'll ask Jigar Bhai.
In that moment, a person emerged from the shadows, carrying a weapon that no man has seen before.
Jigar bhai, wait. Emphasize that no man has seen before.
Okay. In that moment, a person emerged from the shadow, carrying a weapon that no man has seen before.
Good, good, good.
Again, like Krutad bhai said, there are many famous speakers out there like Obama and all that you could literally just watch their video. Everything on tone, inflection, volume, pace, they're experts at it. You don't need to speak like that, but as Obama is speaking, say the same thing in the same manner he's saying. Again, practice will make perfect. We have to practice, that's it. But this was a very, very good first exercise.
So there is a software engineer, Ryan Peterman. I don't know, he's very popular on LinkedIn. He rose to the staff software engineer at Meta in probably 4 years. And that's like 3 or 4 promotions and 1 promotion every year. So he said that the difference was when he was explaining his work, a pause on the result, like my work made $15 billion versus my work made $15 billion. So he explains it, that emphasis, that pause on the results that he achieved, it made a deep impact on the leadership. And that's what helped him get promotions so quickly. There are a lot of talented engineers out there at Meta. They hire the best. But he was the best of the best, not because of the work, but also in explaining the work to the leadership. So that's how vocal dynamics played a huge role in just conveying the message to the leadership and being visible in the company.
Let's go to the next one. Okay, we want to go to another topic now. Krutarth bhai, you work at First Dibs as an ML engineer, correct?
That's right.
Okay, I want to know about, tell me a little about the latest project that you're working on.
Sure. So we used Apache Lucene engine and created a Solr search engine, which when put in the search query returns results based on TF-IDF, word embeddings, and gives a cosine similarity, and returns the best products matching to that. Then those candidates are re-ranked based on light gradient boosting, where the errors are also used in optimizing the problem. And then based on that, we have a personalization engine. When users come in, they get their personalized products.
Very good. Raise your hand if you understood what he said. How many of you are data scientists? Raise your hand. You understood. Okay, good. How many of you are data scientists, data engineers? Raise your hand. How many of you understood what he said? Kind of, sort of. Anyone else understand? That's very good. I understand the words error, us, and the, I think. And that was it. I was pretending to be, let's say, a hiring manager. Or I was pretending to be the HR recruiter on a call who asked him what the latest one is. He totally flunked that, by the way. So let's go to the next slide. Eli Ba. It's a new concept. Explain it like I'm your Ba. Okay? For those of you that don't know, Ba is your grandma. It is very, very tough to take a very complicated subject that you have been studying all your life and to explain it to your Ba. That's not a joke. You should go to your Ba, Krutard Bhai, and explain it again in a manner where she can understand it. Then you have really become an expert in that field. So if I look at the three things that I want to break down very quickly. Know your audience. Your audience is Ba. Your audience will vary. In work, you're going to have many types of interpersonal communications. You might be an expert talking to a non-expert. And if you talk like Krutard Bhai, yeah, you did a great job getting all those words in there. He threw a bunch of, what acronym did you throw in there? TF?
IDF.
TFTI, yeah. TFIDF, acronyms. How much jargon? Cosine something?
Cosine similarity.
What does that mean? So there's a lot of information being shared, but what is the end user walking away with? Almost nothing here. Almost nothing. The reason being is that he didn't consider his audience. Whenever you're speaking, whether it's to a friend, whether it's to Ba, whether it's to an expert, you have to tailor your communication accordingly. We cannot have the same talk track for the hiring manager as you have for the IC7 expert under the hiring manager as you have for the HR recruiter. Those communication methods have to be tailored for that audience. Avoid jargon. We try to throw a lot of words in there. High, complex words. Why? Because we are very smart. But you're not getting your message across. So in the end, why does that matter? How does that matter? In the end, your goal of communicating is trying to get a message across to the end user. Acronyms. In all of our jobs, at home, whether you're cooking, whether you're cleaning, every product has some acronym that's associated to it. Don't use any acronyms. If you want to use an acronym, the first thing you do is say, describe it in full detail. Software development life cycle. Then you start using SDLC as much as you want after you use software development life cycle first. And use examples or analogies. If you're doing a code review for some data science product, or you're trying to explain to someone that I made this button a square and I made it blue in this app that we're developing. Why? Because if you look at Zappos, which is a company that sells shoes, they have the #1 customer service in the world. #1 customer service in the world, and they're renowned for that, the company Zappos. And in all of their app, they have a blue square button that they use. And that's why I'm using a blue square button. In my code review, in my explanation, I just brought some outside example in that helps me convey why I'm doing something. So, Kurtad bhai,
Yes.
I'm going to give you one more chance.
Thank you.
Can you know I'm your ba here, okay? My intellect level on this subject of data science is almost zero.
Sure.
Can you re-explain that complex subject to me again?
Sure. TY for the, I'm sorry, thank you for the chance. No acronyms. So let's say your favorite clothing store is Levi's, right? So now you go to Levi's and ask the salesman to get a pair of blue jeans or show you like some variety of blue jeans. If the salesman gets you a pair of black jeans, will you ever go there? No. You lose interest. So it's essential that the salesman gets you a pair of blue jeans. That's search engine relevancy from e-commerce point of view. That if you put in a query, you get the result that you're looking for. That's the first step. Now, let's say we both go together and you're a fit guy. You look for slim fit while I'm looking for a regular fit. And we decide that, okay, let's grab a bite and then come back again. Now, a good salesman would look at our inclinations, and when we come back, he's showing you the slim fit jeans while he's showing me the regular fit jeans. That's personalization. So my goal or my job here is to write a program that does this for hundreds of thousands of users for our e-commerce store. Search engine relevancy and personalization. That's it.
Did you understand that a little better? It was a little for Ba. It was no acronyms, no jargon. He explained his job very clearly, and I was able to understand more of it. There are always places which we could do better in explanation, but that was much better than the first time around. So let's go into an exercise if that's okay.
100%.
For each of you, for the person next to you, take 1 minute, just 1 minute, to think about something complex that you're working at your work. If you don't have work and you're a chef or college, talk about a complicated project in there. If you cook at home, talk about how you make a complicated meal like khichdi or whatever. Actually, that's an easy one, but a more complicated one. Talk about how you clean and what products you, whatever it is, take a complex subject, take 1 minute to think, 1 minute for one person to share to the other, and another minute for that person to share their project. Make it so they understood, okay? Don't worry about the jargon. Don't worry about trying to act smart or sound smart. The goal is the other person should understand, okay? Go ahead. If you haven't switched yet, feel free to switch as well. Okay.
Time up, folks.
I think we might need a topic on clear and concise and
Sure.
simple. Okay. All right. Let's get back into comms mode. Who felt that their partner explained their job very well? This is a chance to put your partner on the spot. Partner Nati? Nah, he spoke already.
Okay. Anand bhai, we have one here.
Pick one. Yep.
Nikhil bhai. Yeah.
Not the person raising the hand, their partner, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, we have Nikhil bhai here.
Yes.
So explain your job in 1 minute or less. It's okay if you go like 10, 20 seconds overboard, but in a very simple manner, like we are all your boss.
Or a project or anything that you told your partner just now.
So I just explained him my project. So basically, I work as an engineer for a video streaming application, where my job is to create a pipeline or an orchestration which would can communicate with any kind of a devices, any kind of an application, just by a plug and play operation. You just have to put down your credentials or just connect with the services that is running on the pipeline, and you start getting the streams. That's it.
Does Ba know what streams means?
No.
Can you explain that?
Okay. So in a simple term, like when you have, when you would like to see a video on your applications, so what do? You log into the system. So when you log into your app, so that login information internally, it is being controlled by my system. And they provide you with the videos that you want to watch.
So Ba, when you're watching Coffee with Karan on your iPad, call Nikhil bhai. He's the one that gets you your stream. Okay, who else? Who else had a partner that spoke very well? Hemant bhai.
Well, I do work as a data engineer, right? Also do part of data analytics. What does it mean? We analyze the data. The first requirement to analyze the data, we need to collect the data, right? Data is coming from like 10 different sources, right? It's like we are buying a grocery. We need to go different store, collecting everything, then only we can cook. It's the same process. We go to different platform, create a pipeline, so we can gather the data on the same platform. Having the data on the same platform, we can analyze it. So that's what my core job is.
Very good. All very good examples, and I'm sure there are many more that are out there as well.
So the next point is, okay, the surprise was there. But the next point is keep it clear and concise. So we already had that sort of exercise. It's a TED Talk speaker, Chris Anderson. He actually is the CEO of TED Talks. He was asked that, how much time do you need for preparation? So that guy said that if I have to speak for 10 minutes, I need 2 weeks to prepare. If I have to speak for 30 minutes, I need 1 week to prepare. And if I don't have time limit, I can go on right now. So it's very, very tough to keep it concise and to keep it simple. To keep it short, we need to know exactly what we want to give. We need to have a clear objective in mind. Because if we add all the extraneous details, we lose the listener, be it the interviewer, be it the company leadership to whom we are presenting. Keep the message short. Second, there has to be a clear takeaway as to like what are we trying to convey. Once the objective is there, there should be something that the audience should walk away with. Third, is to prioritize. There has to be a story in our mind, and that thing needs a lot of practice. A story in which we know that one event follows the other. There is a natural sequence as to what we are saying. So keeping it clear and concise is a skill that is something very, very tough. It requires a lot of practice. And also a good communicator is such that gives a lot of things by just keeping it very short. We might feel that, okay, I'm very smart if we go on for a long time. But a good communicator's goal is to make the other person feel smart, not us.
Good. So staying clear and concise. So we will give a secret out on this that we could go to the next slide. And it's the vada pav method. Actually, it was a dabeli method, and then...
But I felt that vada pav was more popular, and I think the first point was know your audience. So that's the attempt that I made.
The more Bombay people out there, I think.
Maybe.
So the vada pav method, it's like a bun. That's it. You have your bun on the top, you have the bun on the bottom, and you have a lot of masala in the middle, okay? In the intro, for any topic that you want to talk about, state your main idea or the message you want to convey. After that, go into details, go into data, go into facts, go say whatever points you need to support your main point that you said in the beginning. And then at the end, in your conclusion, summarize the same exact main idea that you had on top and the message you want them to walk away with. What do you want them leaving with after you're done? So let's take a complex subject. I'll take global warming, for example, okay? Sure. Global warming is something that's being talked about across the world. Whether it's real, whether it's not, we're not here to debate that, okay? But there's multiple scientists, multiple countries that are on this. If I had to explain it in a clear, concise manner, let's say you gave me 30 seconds to talk on it.
Take 1 minute.
1 minute to talk about it, right? I want to start with an intro, okay? Climate change, which is known as global warming, is having devastating effects on this world. And it is caused because of humans burning a lot of fossil fuels and doing deforestation across the globe. Okay? I just did my intro. I stated what the idea was and maybe what the message is that we're trying to convey here. Now I'll go into the actual body. That in global warming, what's happening is that the average temperature of this globe is going up year by year. And what that's causing is a lot of natural disasters like hurricanes, droughts, forest fires, and such. I'm still in my body, okay? If we don't change the way we act and the way companies burn fossil fuels, there will be devastating effects on this world. These effects can be starvation, hunger, no water being available to many countries, and such. I'm in my body there. Now I'm going to start concluding, okay? Because of these facts, we as humans need to take action now. We need to change our regulation. We need to make sure companies follow rules according to climate change. And we need to make sure that we're dropping the world's temperature 1 degree at a time. And that starts with you. Done. Okay? I'm not an expert at this at all, but you're trying to take a very complicated subject and fit it into this framework. What is the intro? What are you trying to say? Give it some evidence so I get convinced as a listener. And then when you conclude, say the same thing you said in the beginning. What do you want them to walk away with? What is that one message that you want them to walk away with? Say that. I said that global climate change starts with you and I. We need to start making sure that we're decreasing the temperature by not burning fossil fuels. That's it. I ended it. So I had a very complicated subject in maybe 1 minute, 30 seconds. This could be done in 20 seconds. This can be done in 5 seconds. Climate change is bad. We need to stop it as a globe. You and I can help the world do this together. Done. Okay? Different it could go on for 20 minutes too. So we want to practice this as well. Okay? Is there anything missing from this, Krutadbhai?
No.
Okay.
This is it.
Let's go into our final exercise. All right? One more exercise. Why is the consecration of Ram Mandir so significant? You have to feel free to think for 1-2 minutes. You have 30 to 45 seconds to tell your partner why the consecration of Ram Mandir was so significant. Start with your main point that you want to get across. Give it some more evidence. Don't get into religious manners. Don't get into political manners. Go very factual. And then end with that same main point at the end.
Also use numbers and evidence to support your theory, but if you don't have numbers, don't make them up.
For this purpose, you can make them up, but
Okay,
at job, don't make them up. Make sure they're real. All right? Go ahead. You got 1 minute to think. What's the story? What do you want to convince them of? Is Ram Mandir significant or not? Feel free to argue whatever you want to argue. Convince the other person. Go ahead.
Also, just for clarification, consecration means sthapna.
Okay, take 5 more seconds. And close your arguments. Okay. Who here thought their partner has the best argument in this room? Raise your hand. Huh? Okay. We found Ishan bhai? Okay. You have to explain using the Vada Pav method. Why is the consecration of Ram Mandir so significant, okay?
The consecration of Ram Mandir is significant because it marks the end of 550 years of struggle marked by 1 billion Hindus to have one of their very own deities established or returned to their own home. Now, why do I say this is important? Because, first of all, this is happening in India. India is a democratic country. And even after being a democratic country where Hinduism is a prominent religion, a legal battle backed by facts, evidence, a lot of archaeological surveys were done, a lot of political headwinds were there. Again, we are talking about a democratic country here. So along with many other reasons, along with leaving aside the political side where this issue is very near and dear to a lot of people, a lot of blood shed were done in order to get this done. Lot of, again, political plays were done. In the end, one wish, devotion of everybody came in light together to make this possible. Why is it so much more important going forward? What it also gives us is the reason for us to joy, look forward that our Lord has returned back home so that we can learn from it, get inspired by it, and try to live our lives the way He wanted us to be.
Woo! Give him a big round of applause.
That was amazing.
That was off of 1 minute of practice.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Really good, Ishan bhai. Very nice. I'm sure there are many other arguments like that that are out there, but this was fantastically, explained. So good job.
So today, for this session, we all went through the art of communication. The first thing was why communication is so important. The second thing was that it's a skill. We can learn it, we can enhance it, we can improvise it. We need the willingness and the zeal to just practice and better ourselves. Third, we went through a technique called Ilai Ba. It's dumbing down to make others feel smart, breaking down a complex concept in a way that everyone can understand it. If our Ba can understand it, then everyone can understand it. Fourth one is the ability to keep it short, concise, and clear. Speaking more by speaking less. Conveying more by speaking less. That's a very powerful skill, a very powerful tool. Saving someone time, saving someone's mental energy, and yet conveying the message is something that will help us in every form of our journey. So stay tuned for the upcoming sessions. There are many aspects to communication. Imagine recreating the idea in someone's mind. Storytelling and narration. The art of persuasion. Negotiation. These are all forms of communication, and they all are useful in our life. But we will be covering that in the upcoming sessions. So for now, we have the consecration of Ram Mandir. We have the Ram Mandir and the rise of new era coming up. So now we'll all take a small break and get together for Rise of New Era at Samanvay Youth Meet. Thank you.
One quick announcement. If we could put this slide up, we have a surprise for everyone here. When we take our break that's coming up for 5-10 minutes, if all Bayo want to try this out, there's a QR code. Scan this QR code. Go out in the hallway with this link and point it right into the lobby. You will see a 3D AR model of the Ram Mandir being consecrated live. So please, we'll leave this up there. Scan it. It'll lead you to a link. Take your phone with that link and go out there. All you have to do is point the camera at the floor in the middle of the hallway, and you'll see a live Ram Mandir being consecrated. So get ready. There's a lot coming up for the rise of a new era, the Ram Mandir. Thank you.